Welcome back to the channel, guys. This week we're going to move to Acanthascurria geniculata. So as I mentioned last week, we've got a lot of rehouses to do. Two of them are our Acanthascurria geniculata, the Brazilian Whiteknees. Now these have recently molted. Currently they're in these Reptizoo enclosures. You can't really get the Reptizoo ones anymore. They're very much like Neorep. Neorep do ones like this. They're good for slings. As you can see, the size wise they're quite nice, but these spiders need to come out of here. They're growing on quite nicely. This one especially has put on some serious size. I don't know if the camera's actually going to pick this up. I mean, it looks like they've got room in there at the moment, but these enclosures aren't ideal. So what we're going to do is we're going to move them over. Now, we've got two options, or I've got two options. One of them is these 1.5 litre tubs. This is just the lid to give you an idea of size. And the other one is this 2.4 litre size tub. Now, I like these for the size, but I prefer these for the dimensions. And what I mean by that is I can set up these enclosures so I can give a humid end or a more humid end and then like have a gradient going across. With the square ones, it's not so apparent where you're going to be doing this, and there's a shorter distance between each point as to where you're going to put the humidity. So when you have a spider that, you know, likes a bit of a gradient and they can move to either end in the environment that suits them, I'd rather go for this type of shape enclosure. And because I've got a lot of them, they stack better as well. So the other ones take up a bit more space, and I haven't got so many that I can stack of the square type. So I think we're going to go with these. I've got to try and find if I've got two of these available at the moment before I move them over. But what I'll do is I'll give you some footage of the agents, show you what they're in right now. As you can see, they're, you know, they've got space, but they're looking a little bit snug. And we've also got the tub over the top, and as you can see, the tub over the top does provide a nice bit of room for the spider to move around in, and it's probably going to provide enough space for a good few molts in there. So I'll get some holes drilled in some of those 1.5s, as long as I've got two of them, and then we'll get the substrate in, move over to Rehouse Central, set these enclosures up and move the agens. I'll catch you over there. So back in Rehouse Central, and we have our two geniculatas, and as you can see, the enclosures we've got here, the new lids, over double the size. I mean, I'm not sure what the volume of these is. I could work it out. If I do, I'll put it on the screen at the bottom now. But yes, the volume is going up massively. These are 1.5 litre tubs. They're slightly deeper, probably 2 or 3 centimetres, and as you can see, the size. So they'll have loads of room in here and loads of space to grow. I didn't actually have any of these spare. I did pop out to my local factory shop and pick these up. These are by a company called Hobbybox, I think, and I normally get them from the place called the Plastic Box Shop online, but because I needed them today, I went out and bought a few. I think they were like £1.50 a tub or something like that. But yeah, Hobbybox, I'll put a link in the description. I think I've done it a few times before. Normally, like, drill a few holes down the bottom just to let the soil breathe a little bit. Whether it makes a difference or not, I have no idea. And then I've gone 2 rows at the top, a couple of holes on either end, holes in the lid, standard setup. So I'm going to put some soil in there. These agens are, I've had these since Brighton 2022. I bought a handful of them with the intention of sort of giving some early Christmas gifts to friends, and I ended up coming home with 2 of them still. So I had them, they were tiny little slings, they were probably under 1 centimetre when I got them, and now they're sort of like juvie size, small juvie, growing happily. Still haven't sexed either of these two actually. So yeah, I'll normally get to that. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take these out. These have got a very strong feeding response, so I'm expecting a little bit of feistiness from these, but that's fine. I'm expecting it. I know what to deal with. They're not super fast. They are quick, but they're not super teleportation, blink and you miss it type fast. They're pretty predictable. They'll go for whatever I put in there. So I've got my nice wooden stick that I'll use to move them with, and they'll invariably just grab onto this with their fangs, their front legs and everything else, and then we'll sort of usher them along to their new home. So we'll get them out of the way, we'll get the new homes in there, we'll get the soil in, get them set up, and we'll be back ready to move them. Okay, so we've got the soil in, and all we're going to do is put a little tiny bit of leaf litter in and decorations and get these looking a little bit nicer. Got the cork bark in there, and then obviously we've got peat moss mix with topsoil. Just give this a little bit of sand. The sand on this one will break down the soil a little bit. The agens are pretty much bulldozers, so hopefully they'll mix this in themselves as they do their thing. I'm expecting whatever these setups look like today to not look like these within probably a week or a month or something like that. So just a little sprinkle of sand on the top, leaf litter. So a little bit of sprinkling of leaf litter in here. Again, they will bulldoze this, so whatever I put on here will all be gone within a few days anyway. A few bigger leaves at the back. Give that one like that. Lastly, a little bit of leaf decor. Again, fully expecting this to be bulldozed away by the spider. What we'll do though is we'll give them, bend this a little bit so that it sort of coils over. Gives them something to explore anyway, even if they're not going to appreciate it. Gives them something in there that they can then just bulldoze around. Take the sharp end off. Get this buried deeply in there. There we go. And the next one, bend it over slightly just so that it curls in the enclosure like that. This one will go there, and they'll dig this up from the root anyway, I'm pretty sure. There we go. Water bowls are already in their old enclosures, so we use those ones. Just give them a bit of a clean off as we transfer them. Right, spider time. Let's move number 2 first of all. This could be interesting. We'll see how they're going to react to it. I'll take the lid completely off. We'll see how the spider's going to react. It may just go straight up and in. Who knows? We will see, I suppose. There we go. Predictable agen. Everything's food. It's not food, dude. It's not food. Should we move you up? Oh. Go up. Up side. That's it. All the way up. Come on, you're on the enclosure now. Over. And in, please. There we go. No drama with that one at all. All we'll do, get their water bowl, give it a bit of a clean on the outside. This is just because there's some spores. And we'll put the water bowl in that side. I know I said everything's food and I probably shouldn't be putting my fingers in there. Probably could be doing with a slightly bigger water bowl, I think. But that's one of the agens in. Gorgeous spider, absolutely lovely. Brazilian Whiteknee. They are very common spider, overlooked by many, but I think people should have these in their collection. They're absolutely stunning, stunning spiders. Anyway, that's that one done. We'll get on with the next one. So this next one, slightly larger. This one's grown slightly quicker than the other one. But again, we'll do it the same way. We'll put enclosure right next to it. This one's molted more recently, and So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to move these. This one's slightly larger than the other one. A little bit more sort of prone to hiding, a little bit shyer maybe. It has eaten since its molt, so I'm not just moving it straight without making sure that it's okay after its molt and stuff. But we're going to move it up the side. Come on, let's go. Let's go. You're going to go on top. Here we go. Don't go down that way. Come on. Up. Going to go up and over. There we go. And into your new home, please. Going to move in. Move in on your own. Yeah? You're just going to sit on the sidewall. Okay, that's cool. Another easy move. We'll get the water bowl in. As you can see, I'm right about the one thing. They definitely have a strong feeding response. Everything is food for an agen. They do react straight away to most things. So, but they're predictable. They're still a good spider to move. No drama. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in these ones now. They, you know, they're that sort of size when they spread out. They've got plenty of space in here. Right, let's go back to the other room. So the agens moved. I mean, like I said, they're pretty predictable. Everything's food, so it's no surprise that they just went straight after the stick as soon as I put it in there. Once they realise that it's not a tasty dubia or a worm or whatever, they let go of it and then just move nice and slowly. I do like these agens. I have a large female, I have a large male, and then I've got these two smaller juvies grown on slings. They're I've had them a couple of years, so their growth rate's pretty good. Like I say, they've gone from probably a centimetre since 2022 December. It's now obviously late 2024, so I've had them, you know, a little over a year and a half. And they're growing okay. Those enclosures that I had, those Reptizoo enclosures, they're approximately 5.5 centimetres by 10 by 8, which works out at 440 cubic centimetres, which is approximately 0.44 litres, so just under half a litre. And obviously these ones are 1.5 litres, so we're talking about 3 times the volume. Agen's already exploring in here. It's up on top of its cork bark. These spiders don't take long to settle. I know some spiders, you sort of, as you move them, you give them a little time to acclimatise before they'll take any prey items. I'm pretty sure if I just took the lid straight off those setups that they would eat straight away. They are absolute tanks. Like I say, I've got a large male and that never refuses food. You have to sort of be more careful with the agens how you feed them, because they will just eat everything and anything. No matter how big their abdomen gets. So some spiders, like my pulchra, will go off food. The agens don't seem to go off food even up to their molt, so you just have to be a little bit careful watching the carapace and abdomen sort of ratio of sizes so that they don't get too overweight when you're feeding them up. Brilliant spiders though. Everyone seems to love and get sort of like shiny eyes and all that for new and exciting looking spiders. I think the staples of the hobby are you know, brilliant to have in your collection. The agens, brachypelmas, the pulchra, you know, what some would class as boring spiders, curly hairs, things like that, I think are brilliant because they're so good. They've got brilliant personalities, and they're awesome spiders to watch feed. And if you want to care for a spider, watch it eat, don't want to panic about it not eating and not moving and things like that, the agens are pretty good, but I still don't think they're like a very beginner spider just because of their feeding response. And as they get bigger, which they do get to quite a size, that can be a little bit intimidating for some people, but they're brilliant spiders nonetheless. I do apologise if I sound a little bit nasally. Still struggling. Anyway, that's it for today. Avic Watch, we'll do a quick update on them. Haven't lost any more. So we still have the same number as we had last week, which is awesome. They're still eating their fruit flies, and they're actually, I've witnessed a few takedowns as well now, so it's good to see them on the hunt. I will give a proper video update on them in a few weeks' time once there's actually something to sort of like maybe show whether they molt the second time or whatever's happening with them. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, consider subscribing if not, leave a comment. What do you think about the what I would class as the hobby staples? Which ones are your favourite out of the more common spiders that people you know, tend to start with and stuff? Do you have a soft spot for like the curly hairs or anything like that? Just let us know. It'd be interesting to read some of those comments. Anyway, I will catch up with you next week.